Okay, so this is going to be a really half-baked theory. I just want to throw this out there. I'm not even sure I believe in this myself. It caught me thinking. I'm looking at the footage of the new Avengers game, and one of the clips that's making the rounds, and we'll show it here, is Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, and she's in I don't know, doing a tour of the Avengers headquarters or something or other. And she basically is like hanging out, and then some bullies kind of come over and tell her to get lost. And then she quotes Captain America at them because they call her fake fangirl. And then, like, then everybody applauded. Um, but it got me thinking, what is going on with Kamala Khan? Why is that character such a lightning rod with fans and with people? I think there's a bunch of different reasons, but I'm going to throw out a theory, and you can tell me if that's crazy or not.
Hitler in the face. This is so cool.
You're in the way.
I'm sorry.
This contest should only be for the real fans.
Hey, what makes you think I'm not a real fan? I deserve to be here too.
You really think that the Avengers read your little story? Get out of here.
And the mob, and the press, and the whole world tell you to move. You plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth, and you say no. You move.
What?
Who said that? A real fan would.
Yeah, whatever. Get out of here.
Great. And they're out of comics.
So, Miss Marvel, it's so let me just kind of lay out some basics here. So, when Miss Marvel came out as a character, there was a lot of fanfare, mainly by Sana Amanat and people within Marvel, about how it was great that we finally had a Muslim girl, new character, and she's the hope and future of the Marvel universe. And by and large, what was weird about that moment is the character gets announced, these statements get made, and then I recall this because for various reasons at the time, Bleeding Cool started running all these articles about, man, can you believe who's going to be pissed about this? You know, all the dude bros are going to be pissed about this. It's a Muslim girl. Oh my God. But there wasn't that much. It was there, in the grand scheme of things, there was very little like, what's this? Most people were concerned about, comics costing too much. And I think DC was starting to move into convergence, maybe a little bit before that. And it was just like the new 52 was kind of starting to get into its death throes. And nobody really cared. It's like, it's a comic. People just kind of ignored it. But the articles kept going, like goading people, like, you're pissed, right? I know you're pissed. You dudes are pissed. Oh, you're so pissed. But nobody was really that pissed. And the comic, when it came out, was, I'd say, innocuous. It had the misfortune, when it first came out, of being tied to the Inhumans. She came out of the cocoon. And it's interesting because that's part of her origin that, like, nobody talks about anymore. It's like, let's just pretend she got her powers from some kind of science fair accident. Let's not get into the Inhumans cocoon stuff. We'll just kind of move right past that. Anyway, all references to her being an Inhuman are pretty much like, yeah. It's that gif, of anyway. Nobody's caring about that. So the comic comes out and is generally, I would say, knock on wood, well received. It wasn't like the top seller out of Marvel, but people were like, fine, because it was written fine. It was kind of it had some charm to it. It was a brand new character who had kind of a wide-eyed view of the Marvel universe, and so it was a chance to kind of rediscover all of these Marvel tropes through a fresh set of eyes. And, a lot of kind of, teenage drama, very similar to Spider-Man. It felt a lot like the early issues of Spider-Man. And it didn't really, nothing really seemed to matter there. And then a couple years went by, not many, like 2 years went by, and a couple things happened. First, they get Kamala Khan well, three things kind of happened in quick succession. One, they put her in the Avengers as part of their all new, all different. We're writing for the new audience initiative. And the issue of the Avengers was Kubert and Wade, as I recall, launched that version, and it wasn't good. It was the villain in the first arc. Loki was kind of there, but not really. And there was like an alien from Nova, and it felt odd. And plus we'd come off of a run of what I'd call bouncing around with the Avengers. We had the Avengers disassembled, and then we had the Avengers come back together in a street kind of way, and then we had the team formally form, and then we had Civil War, and it got broken apart, and then we had Secret Invasion, and that led to Dark Reign, and the Avengers were on the run, and then the Avengers got back in with the Golden Age, and then life's pretty good, but then they segue into Age of Ultron, and they're broken apart again. And then it was kind of up, down, up, down, up, down, all over the place. And then Bendis leaves the title, and we get just years of kind of, for lack of a better word, wacky Avengers. And this is during a time period where the Falcon was Captain America, but it was a really awkward Captain America. It's like they took all the great parts of Sam Wilson's character away and turned it into this weird drill sergeant that was completely different from his personality, and it just went all weird, all wrong. It was just weird writing. So we're sandwiched into all that. They throw Kamala Khan into the Avengers, and they kind of infer again. They're trying to do what G. Willow Wilson did of saying this is kind of the heart and the soul of the Avengers. This is kind of the youth of tomorrow and all the rest. But then in not what G. Willow Wilson was doing, Wade was inserting a lot of things like, "You're the best of us. You're the true greatest Avenger. You're going to be the most amazing one." And it was like a lot of like hey, show, don't tell. That was the problem. It's like you have a character people genuinely want to like, but you're pushing on a little thick. And then the second thing that happened is they threw her into that Civil War II event, which just derailed the title. First off, it was this kind of the naive charm of this event was disrupted by events. Let me start over. The naive and charm of this title, Miss Marvel, which was kind of like this fresh set of eyes, suddenly had Secret Wars 3 slamming into the side of it, and then Civil War 2, and she's running a prison camp, and it was just, again, it was all awkward. And they had this weird transference where they're telling the readers, hey, this character is really important. You should love her. She's the best. Love her the most. And then in the comic, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, is going, oh, you know who's the best? Carol, Captain Marvel. She's the best. We should all love her, and she's the super best in the whole world. And then they have the bit where Carol kills Tony in Civil War II, and then in her title, it's like Captain Marvel's the most popular hero. She can't go anywhere without being mobbed by fans. And it's like all that stuff is, again, don't tell us, show us. Comic fans don't like typically to be told what to buy. This is an age-old tradition dating back to the overexposure of Wolverine or Deadpool or Harley Quinn. Like, if you just hammer these characters over the head and then on top of that tell everybody how much they're important, it's too much. And then I think the third thing that happened is there was almost this renewed effort of trying to explain that Kamala Khan was the future of the Marvel Universe. And she may or may not be the future of the Marvel Universe, but again, when you've got Joe Quesada and Simon Amanat and Axel Alonso and then C.B. Cebulski going out and then talking about how this character was like so popular. Everyone loves this character. She is the most popular. And then you have people who are not even attached to comics talking about how popular the character is. They're just like vomiting back what they're being told. And this was where, you'd have these interviews and you're like, so tell us more about this breakout character, the character everybody loves in the entire world, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. And all of these things combine to finally create that backlash that Bleeding Cool initially said was coming. Like Bleeding Cool's like, oh, in this place they got it right, just like a year and a half early. When they started really hammering all those points, then suddenly people are on Twitter going, this is the woke apocalypse, and this character is SJW cringe, and on and on. And then suddenly now there's a lot of kind of anger about Kamala Khan. But it's like people were prepped for it because they'd been told for a year and a half that all the hateful trolls were out there, but they weren't yet. The hateful trolls were not there. Now, please, disclaimer for the people who went on to kind of say how much they, hate a nationality or they hate the girl. There are certainly people that express their dislike for Kamala Khan in a gross, disgusting, troll, terrible way. Yes, those people were out there, no doubt. Were they all the people who were complaining? Not even close. But yes, if you go through all the tweets, you can absolutely find somebody who's really pissed because it's a Muslim woman who is the hero, and you can find those, and then you can retweet them and go, ha ha, see, here's proof of the racism. But number one, those were a fraction of the ones that came out, and my theory here is kind of that all of these events is what generated this backlash. And definitely some people took it too far, sure. But it's kind of like people preordained this rejection of the character for reasons unknown. And then here comes the last little kind of shaky thing that I have in my mind of what happened with this character. The shaky thing is this. Part of the character's backstory was that Kamala Khan was a huge Marvel fangirl, and that she did fan fiction, and she liked to play role-playing games, and she was just super Marvel geek. And I think the writers and the people at Marvel, they believed what they were doing was creating a surrogate, a cipher for Marvel fans. You could, oh look, I can see myself in this character. I am also a Marvel geek. I also know all the quotes, and it leads me to this clip from the Avengers game where Kamala Khan comes out and she references a Captain America quote from the comic, and she uses that to go, I am more of a fan than you're a fan, bully who is telling me I'm not a fan. The problem is that whole sequence is relatively unlikable. It's first off, I don't think a lot of comic fans want it put in their face that they are nerds. I think it's like, hey, let's really showcase the fact that the true Marvel fans are kind of socially inept, and they are fan fiction writers, and they geek out over characters and all the rest. And yeah, that's so cute. That's what our fans are like. And I think a lot of the fans seeing that's going to offend people more than whether it were her nationality or her ethnicity or any of the rest. What's going to offend them is feeling like they're being pandered and talked down to as fans. That somebody, people are basically saying, hey, this is what we think of you, typical Marvel fan. We think you're a, socially inept moron who doesn't know how to handle themselves in public and nerds out over things that are pretty basic. And that's who you are. And this character is for you. I don't know if I'm accurate with any of it. I'm just saying this is a theory. But as I'm watching that clip and I'm seeing kind of some of how they've written and handled that character, the weird part is when she first came out, there was kind of a newness. I mean, they definitely referenced that she did fan fiction. She was a fan, but it wasn't so over the top. It's like they took all subtlety away from that. What was like a charming little trait became a, hey, she's a nerd like you, nerd. Buy our comics, nerd. That's how it started to come across. Now, I'm sure some people come in and go, you're projecting everything else. I don't know. Maybe. Am I a whatever she is? How old is she? 18? I don't know. Am I a Muslim girl with inhuman powers? No. But I think that your goal is to want to land the character. And I think what they did with Miss Marvel is they had some charming little attributes. And then rather than build on these, and here's where maybe, you can hand some credit to G. Willow Wilson. She knew how to actually write that character without it being kind of over the top nonsense, because it was really a lot of the other people. It was the people who came after that. The current writer of Miss Marvel, Mark Waid, some of the other people who have handled her in titles, they took just the surface qualities. It's kind of like people, the analogy I would use is this. When Spider-Man is sometimes handled by an inept writer, all they know how to do is like, look, he cracks jokes. He can't stop talking while he's swinging around. Look at him making jokes and talking. And there's more to Spider-Man's character than that. If that's all you do with a character, then, people are going to reject it. That's my theory. Do you think it holds any merit? Again, if you just follow his history, the character was not hated. I mean, in fact, generally, people thought, "Hey, this is charming." Even I remember I had the shop at that point. People were like, "I don't want this character." The comic comes out. It's like I tried it out. It's actually it's charming. It reminds me of old Spider-Man. That was the most common review. And then fast forward to like 3 years later, and people are like, "God, I hate this character. I wish he'd burn in fire." And I think there, like I said, there's been overexposure. There's been a "you must like the character or else" kind of behavior. But also, I think there's this, "See, she's like you." Aha. And it'd be like when Spider-Man was coming out. They're like, "Look, he's a loser who can't get anything right and doesn't score any ladies, and he's always losing his mind. His boss is yelling at him, just like you fucking loser." Ah ha ha. Like, nobody wants that. I don't think they want that. Anyway, that's my idea. Does it have merit? Does it not? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, well, you probably aren't going to now. But anyway, it'd be nice if you did. Follow me on social media. Send me an email. Most importantly, thanks for listening.